I'm bored. Let's talk about Peacemaker Season 2 and that possible Earth-X twist we're going to be getting this season. All right, so over at Screen Rant, we have Kevin right here that goes, I figured out James Gunn's massive twist behind the DCU's alt universe, Peacemaker Season 2 theory explained. At the beginning he goes, I think I figured out the massive twist. I'm going to put this out there and just say that I think collectively, a ton of people have been talking about this since like the second episode of the season. So I don't think that any one individual person can be like, yeah, I figured this out. I'm just putting that out there. I think this is a collective thing where a bunch of people have been talking about it. With that being said, he goes on to say the DCU already has its own parallel world seen in Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 3. I think we may have just been introduced to one of the darkest Earths in all the DC multiverse. Here's what we know about the DCU's alt reality and the evidence pointing to a major twist I'm confident is coming in the future. It says in Peacemaker Season 1, the majority of which is still canon to the new DCU, Chris Smith's father, Augie, had access to the quantum unfolding chamber in his house, a pocket universe where he kept his armor, advanced weaponry, and helmets for Chris. We still don't know exactly how he came upon that. We're still not totally sure. And also we know that there's at least one other Peacemaker in there, and there's some weird alien in there. And who else has access to this quantum unfolding chamber? And is it just alternate versions of Earth, or is it other places? We still don't have all the answers to that. It says here, Peacemaker Season 2 confirmed that the quantum unfolding chamber contains doors to other dimensions and is used by other beings from various worlds. Well, we're not sure exactly what that means yet. This includes an alternate Peacemaker from a parallel world to the DCU. Once the primary DCU's Chris discovers this dimension, it's revealed that both his brother and father are alive and well in this alt DCU. Not only that, but the three of them fight together as a team known as the Top Trio. He goes on to say, compared to the main DCU where Chris's brother Keith died when they were kids and Augie was a white supremacist who Chris killed in Peacemaker Season 1, this new DC universe seems awfully appealing, featuring everything Peacemaker ever wanted and or lost. That should have been the first red flag for everybody. That should have been the first one. Because we knew from the jump, when we saw the first episode, that they had course corrected the end of Peacemaker Season 1 into the DCU by adding in the Justice Gang, Superman, and Supergirl. So we already knew that. So we know that these other worlds in the quantum unfolding chamber are not going to be worlds that Peacemaker or Chris is going to stay in. Big red flag. He's happy. This looks like the perfect place for him. From the jump, out of the gate, knew it was a bad thing. After encountering his alternate self, who was inadvertently killed in their wrestling brawl, Chris decided to explore this new reality in Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 3, posing now as his deceased doppelganger. Taking the other Chris's Peace Cycle out for a drive to meet with Amelia Harcourt at Argus, crowds of people are shown cheering Peacemaker's name in Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 3. Receiving hero worship and praise he's never experienced before, it's no wonder Chris thinks this is the best dimension ever. However, there are more than a few elements that make me suspicious. The more time Chris spends in this alternate DCU reality, firstly, there's yet to be a single person of color in this alt DCU reality. Okay, I know a lot of people said this, and I went back and watched the episode a couple of times. There's a possibility that there are a couple of people of color in this alt Earth, but we're not seeing their faces. They're not getting a lot of like dialogue. I feel like there might be some there, but they are treated as like second-class citizens, essentially, if there are any. Again, this is just my speculation on what I saw in the background. Like when they were at the hot dog stand, I have to think back because it's been a couple days since I watched the episode a second time. But I think the guy at the hot dog stand, someone said that could possibly be a person of color. I pulled up the scene here just to double check. And yeah, some of the conversations people were having is that this person could actually be a person of color in this scene. I don't want to show too much of it because it might get claimed. So we're just going to watch here for a second and see there. Yeah, basically just a very quick, like giving them the hot dog or whatever, and then moving on with that scene. So it's quite possible that if there are any POCs in this alt Earth, we're not going to see them treated well. So just know that. It says, from the Argus agents to the crowds cheering Peacemaker's name, everyone is white. Yes, the majority of people that we saw in this town were white. I want to point out, if this were like you out and about filming stuff and you just happen to only catch like all men, all women, all white people, all black people, if you were just out and about and that was the situation you were in, it would be like, okay, maybe that's just where you are is where this community is the most prevalent, right? But on a TV show like this one, where we're looking at another Earth, everything that you see in the background, what's happening, it's all intentional. So that was definitely something that we were supposed to notice in the episode. And if you missed it, it was still there subtly. Secondly, the top trio have thus far been only heroes we know about in this other reality. Furthermore, the Sons of Liberty, who took over a government building in the episode, claimed they were resisting an oppressive government. Yeah, this is another big red flag. The fact that we have an entire group of people going against an oppressive government, and Peacemaker didn't bother to ask anything about it before he went in and just started murking people. Yeah. This all leads me to a pretty big conclusion of the catch that's undoubtedly coming to throw a wrench in the supposed perfect DC reality. Okay, so before we go any further, there's actually more stuff. There's actually a few other things in the show that lead us to that path, right? One of the big ones is pronouncing Bloodhaven, Bloodhaven. And a lot of people have pointed out this is another thing that kind of set off the alarms in their head. The other thing is here where it says the Evergreen Sentinel. The top trio defeats the rainbow creature. Now, this one also might be a subtle thing that we're supposed to pick up on, is that if this is actual like white supremacist reality that we're at, if it's a white supremacist world, showing something like the rainbow creature could be sort of an allegory towards LGBTQIA+, gay people, trans people, or people from different backgrounds in general. This could be an allegory for that because it's here, it's framed, and it's such a random thing just kind of in their house displayed for us to see, for us to notice. And here at the bottom of this article, it says, all in all, I think it's incredibly likely that the alt DCU our Peacemaker discovered is a live action version of Earth-X. And yes, we've seen Earth-X before in the Arrowverse, so we're all really familiar with that. In the Arrowverse, they were a little less subtle about it. They kind of just came out all guns a-blazing with the Earth-X storyline. Here, they're playing it a little bit more undercover for us, giving us little hints here and there to let us know what it is. And I think that's the reason. I think the reason why they're doing that is because of how upfront it was with Augie in Peacemaker Season 1. So they're trying to really like lead us in on this one to sort of have us feel the way that Peacemaker feels, the way that Chris feels about getting these things back in his life, a father that loves him, a brother that's alive, and they have a really close relationship, and the possibility that him and Harcourt could be together, and he's a hero in this world, and everybody loves him. They want us to lean into that a little bit before they pull the rug out from under us. The even crazier part about this, and this is where my mind kind of goes when I think of it, so chances are, during World War II, the United States and their heroes sided with Germany because otherwise we would be occupied in the United States. Like that world would be occupied by Germany. If they fought against Germany and Germany won, it would be an occupation situation, right? So it looks like they're using terms like Bloodhaven and things like that that might show that there is a connection with Germany that's more of like a relationship with Germany post World War II. If that's what they're trying to do here, if that's really the story that's going on. So not only do we have to deal with the fact that this is a world where white supremacy and all these things happened and they won, we have to also deal with the fact that there's a possibility that the United States and the people that exist in this world are all people that worked alongside Germany during that period of time. So that's really the only thing that makes any sense to me. And I think this is going to be a great twist because I think we're going to find out the total character of Peacemaker. And when I mean character, I don't mean like as a character. I mean like his personal character, like who he is based on how he handles this information and what he does with it in the show. Because right now, I think season 2 has been very strong. I think episodes 1 and 3 are the best. I think 2 is a little bit weaker. And there's a few other things that's going on the show that I'd like to talk about in another video. I don't want to do it here. I'm not going to keep you guys too long on this. but I'm really enjoying it. And I think this is a really interesting twist. I think it's also going to piss off a lot of the hateful people here on YouTube that don't like the idea of seeing this kind of stuff in media, because they're going to think that, oh, they must be talking about us because this is definitely them trying to preach to us and things like that. It doesn't seem like that to me. It seems like it's just a really good way to tell a story with this Earth-X thing, and a show where they can do that in, which is Peacemaker, because it is a TVMA show. So they can push it further. They can go farther with it on that show than they could do in one of their movies like Superman or Man of Tomorrow, something like that. However, it does make me wonder how directly connected this is going to be to Man of Tomorrow, since James Gunn said directly connected to that movie. It just makes me wonder, are we going to see even more tie-ins to Superman and the Super Family before the end of this season? So, yeah, this is a theory that I think is pretty accurate. I think we're going to start to see this unfold the next episode this week, really leaning into whatever is going on this other Earth. And I think it's going to be a problem for a lot of our team members. And I think there might be another twist going on that we're not totally aware of right now. But I'm going to talk about that in another video. We'll talk about it later this week in a different video. But yeah, there's so many things happening on Peacemaker Season 2. I can't even cover every single Easter egg and little thing that's going on here. We'll talk about it more on the Nerdcast. But anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Do you agree with this theory? Do you disagree with it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know down in the comment section. Thanks, and we'll see you in the live stream.